Hello, Blood Bowl Grud here. Now I'm here to introduce you to the Tier 3 podcast. The podcast that has done for Blood Bowl what Nurgle's Rot has done for the sex lives of pestigores. Enjoy!
And we're back. Hello everybody and welcome to the show. I hope you're all doing well. And with me, as usual, the man, the myth, the gravy stain. It's Beard. Beard, do you want to say hello to everybody?
Hello everybody, how's everybody keeping? How are you, Jay?
Fan-dabby-dozy, my boy. Fan-dabby-dozy. That's all I can say. I've had a good couple of weeks. I've hardly hobbied, but we had Cardiff Cup. I feel like I had a good show in there. Started that AOS slow grow campaign, so it's something a bit different. And we've recently had information that our local club, now relocated, is going to be having a league. So it's all coming up roses, my end. How are you feeling, boy?
Not too bad. I've done a lot of hobby, bouncing about from different things. We've got about 9,000,001 things going on. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the local league starting up again, getting some regular games in again, away from tournaments.
When you see people at the tournament, it's nice to see people you haven't seen for a while and all that, but I don't know, it's when you're in a club, or when you've seen people week in, week out, it's a different thing altogether. You shoot the shit a little bit more personal. Every joke is a bit more biting. It's really good, and I can't wait to see everybody again. But I want to give a shout out to everybody that went to Cardiff Cup. It was been a fantastic event. Willis, the organizer, he put on a phenomenal event, like everybody else at these Welsh series, except us so far. But yeah, it was a good day, and I gotta be honest, I got to play some amazing people. Ash, who I know listens to this show, he schooled me with dwarves as well. It was a draw, but I've never seen a fire slayer get up off the floor, do a backflip into two spaces on a 6+, and then interfere with a pass. Absolutely phenomenal. I love that, man. It was a good day. So, how did you find the tournament? Did you enjoy it? I know we're not going to talk a lot about it now because we talk about it later in the show, but how did you feel the day went for you?
I thought it went quite well. I come out with a perfectly average record of 2-0-2. I got elfed and really enjoyed all of my games, despite being elfed. Nobody likes getting elfed, but then I beat everybody's hated team of Underworld at the minute, which that felt good to finish the day beating Underworld. But yeah, it was good. Willis always puts on a decent tournament. He knows where he's doing, and it's always a good laugh, his Cardiff Cup as well.
Yeah. And, because we're seeing people regular now, and especially now we got this Welsh series on the go, there's people always trying to ramp it up now, and it's really good. Everyone's pushing each other now. So it's really good to see people regular now. And like I said, it's always good to see people. I took Norse. I'm going to let it slip now, before we talk about it more. I took Norse, and it was absolutely amazing. That the fact that they did not shatter, they did not get the Tash Bash effect. 3 draws, man. 3 draws. That's all I've got to say. That's amazing for me. But I know last month we talked about Peggy, and we were like, oh yeah, he's fantastic. Oh, he's a fucking beast. I will say, it surprises me because he's such an average stat line, which you want for your flings, don't you? You want just standard blodge, nerves to steel. That just really fucks with people's heads. It was amazing. And I gotta be honest, I think, I'm gonna have to paint up my Rebo Puggy and get that sorted. It's gonna be fun, but it's with these new stars, it's something has been opened up, and it's just gonna be chaos. I even got to see Ripper in action as well.
Whoa.
Oh, it was amazing, but I played Ripper and Black Orcs in my first game, and with Norse as well, they survived with a draw. Granted, the game went slow as fuck because Ripper ended up having a bouncing ball caught, and he had to try to drag his ass from the 22-yard line of theirs all the way up to the side, and just by some sheer, built-in arrogance from an elf, just managed to block him out on the side. So it was a gotta do this at all cost type of play just to keep the draw. But it was fantastic. You know, I don't want to go into it too much, but it was amazing. Like, granted, he could have been a bit better. The guy didn't roll very well when he came to my armor value, which, as we know from previous episodes, I know that feeling very well. When people can have like 6+ armor and I roll like 4 for the whole day. But yeah, it was good. It was a good day. It was a good day, and everyone was chilled, relaxed. It was perfect, absolutely amazing.
I am still convinced every dice you own doesn't go up to a 6. I'm still convinced they don't go above a 2.
Well, to be honest, I don't think they do. I think I just got 2s on every side, probably, and probably like 3 sides of a skull as well. So, hey, never mind. Never mind. It's all fun and games. Like I said, Wooden Spoon Warrior. You know, you got to get this somehow. Like, oh no. So, it was a good day. It was a good day. And in case people don't know, we've got an interview coming up as well from the boys over at the Eye of Nuffle. So, from the great state of Canada, they are going to be Ian and Martin, if you don't know, and they're going to tell us all about the Glam series. I think that's such an amazing series title, like, the Glam series.
Oh, it is. It is. We've used the magic of technology, and either we've travelled back in time or they've travelled forward in time, and we might sit down again and have a good chat with them and have a bit of banter with them. And we may be lining up another chat in future again later on in the year as well.
I gotta be honest, I love talking to them boys. It's such a relaxed conversation with them. They're just chilled, easygoing, and we've previously had dealings with the great Ian before with his Up and Under series. So, you know, he's a man of many talents, podcaster, author, and mediocre Blood Bowl player, from what I understand. So,
Mediocre, that's what, 4 steps above you, maybe, at
10.
tournaments? Oh, they're saying that you're on an upward trajectory.
Oh,
you know.
Not having the wooden spoon doesn't mean I'm on an upward trajectory. That just means something worked out. Come on.
I don't know. Given your recent tournaments, especially Tash Bash, 3 draws is that's akin to winning the whole thing. You know.
We met as well Doc, who gave us that amazing dice bag. Let us not forget that.
Yeah.
Those dice bag. I filmed mine in the middle of my first game. The guy was like, did you see what I done? I was, no, I'm busy. Fucking you carry on. I got a dice bag, mate. It was absolutely amazing. I showed everyone I played. The absolute saint as well. He gave us a spare bag as well. So we're going to be putting pictures up for it. And it's going to be a spot prize for Coop and Drag 2 as well. So he's an absolute saint. Brought his mate, who is holding on to my wooden spoon, because I wasn't there to collect it. They give it to him, but, you know, he's not the true champion with the wooden spoon, is he? Come on, he only...
Oh, you mean Jehannam?
He's not the true champ.
Yeah, I played him first game.
He's only there because I was taking you home because you were not well.
Well, talking of Coop and Drag, it's now NAF approved. One day tickets are live. We have 21 places filled so far, so if you're thinking about it, get yourself there. We had a lot of people who were very impressed with the prize pool last year, so we're hoping to do something along the same sort of lines. And as Jay said, we have that dice bag just as a hint of some of the things we have lined up for this year.
I will say as well that I would say we got like 50 plus tournament. I will push it to 70 if I can talk to the organisers in time. So if people are interested in coming, they got to get it in ASAP so we know where we are. And that's going to be amazing. And I'm talking with a friend over in Battle Bling as well, see if I can work out a little extra something for us, as well as, you know, we got to talk nicely to Chris over in Black Hawk Down. So goodie bags aplenty, hopefully.
Oh, yes.
We've spoken about a tournament briefly. We talked about the interview with Ian and Martin, the absolute saints of Canadian Blood Bowl. Have you played any games, whether it's Blood Bowl related or any other thing?
I had my first toe in the water with Age of Sigmar. Didn't lose first turn, which was a big change from how I play 40k and Blood Bowl, so that might be something going forwards that I do more regularly. Other than Cardiff Cup, I've not had any games of Blood Bowl. We'll be coming on to Cardiff Cup. I did have, tell a lie, I did have a game against Ian from our club in our new venue in Merthyr, which was my Orcs against his Amazons. And I experienced the glass cannon that you had with Norse. My Orcs decided in about 3 turns they were all just going to fall over and lie on the floor. And Amazons just ran round me twice and passed, and off they went.
Oh, so are you saying this was like a repeat of was it Maltese Gauntlet match that me and you had?
Oh, yes.
Where Amazons couldn't do no wrong. Orcs couldn't even like get their fingers out their ass to sniff it. Like
Orcs couldn't even move a square. Never mind, like, you know. But yeah, it was a repeat of that.
Yeah. How did it feel? How did it feel?
Well, I couldn't sit down properly in the car on the way home. Let's put it that way. It was that bad.
I seen you shifting, but
yeah. But as with any game against Ian, it's always a good laugh and it always makes you think. Have you had mini games?
Well, I played Phil in our new venue, and as a treat, he wanted to take his High Elves, so I thought, I've never played him before. I've had him in a box, fully painted for, I think since before lockdown. So I took out my woodies and didn't know how to play him. I decided, I started, if we're going to just like stick so many rules on him, I decided to make block woodies. And yeah, it was elf on elf violence. It ended in a draw. It was a fun game. And, it made me think a bit like, perhaps I should be passing, but I know my dice. If it was working with block dice, I'd just keep going for a bit. Still couldn't break armor for shit, mine, but I was putting players down. It didn't matter then. So I think my war dancers actually survived, which is better than most memes. What happens to them? Because I know they get targeted, but when somebody's as soft as a bloody pointy ear against you, doesn't matter, does it? So again, it was the AOS event that I've set up. It was what we call it, the Contest of Champions, where it was like a slow grow. We could have like non-unique champions, and we could just build it up. And I taught you how to play, and well, that was fun. And it was like the people that you expected to die didn't die, and then the ones that should have stayed disappeared within about round 2, and it was a nice simple game. I thought it's not how many you kill; it's all objective based. Turned out it didn't really matter because we all stuck on one objective and just decided to hit 7 lumps of shit out of each other. So it's always fun. It's giving you a little taste now, so it's something a bit different for you, and it's a bit of variety for us then, isn't it? So it's not going to turn into a Blood Bowl / AOS podcast now, but it's something a bit different for us. Give us a bit of a break now and again.
Exactly. And what I will say is, Necro Horror, get rid of the bed sheet and start using some Night Haunt models. They'd fit in much nicer.
Oh yeah, I was looking at Necromantic Horror before Tash Bash, and I painted some up because if people have followed us on Instagram, I painted up a few of the ghouls and everything. Like, I should probably dig them out to see if I can actually use them, but the bed sheets they're fucking awful. But if you can change all those models for something AOS related, it's gonna get a bit more expensive than a 20 quid box from GW. So if you've got to do it, you got to do it really well. But yeah, those bed sheets are fucking awful. Like we said when we reviewed them, it's a Scooby-Doo fucking monster horror box, isn't it?
I know Blood Bowl is meant to be more of a comedy game compared to AOS and 40k and 30k, but like Scooby-Doo horror, just there's much nicer third-party kits out there than bed sheets.
Don't know. Now you say that, right, about it being like a little bit of fun or whatever. I've noticed in more this edition that it seems to have gone into this playful type of picture of the players, because the previous edition, it felt like it was a bit more brutal. It felt a bit more, on point. It was in line with what they were classing as their fantasy range at the time.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like the fact that it wasn't goofy. I think that's my problem with a lot of what's coming out now is it does look goofy as fuck.
Yeah.
And Bryce, I don't know how you're going to slice that any other way. That's just a shit, over-the-top goofy model, because that's somebody not wanting to finish a model, and I feel sorry for any fucker that wants to paint that. But I'm not the designer at GW. I never will be. Most of my designs are fucking stick figures if I had to do anything, but my opinion is I don't like over-the-top goofy. That's why I'm not a Cutimals fan.
Not saying I've dropped 200 quid on the new Cutimals team, but I might have done.
And I'm not a dick with a sway base. You're not saying that, do you? You want about the dogs and the cats?
I am. It might finally convince the other half to give Blood Bowl a go. So if it gets somebody into it, plus I can't wait to turn up with the Cutimals on square bases just to see Jay's face when I put them down and go, look, they fit in the squares.
Do you know, if you do that, I think this podcast will come to an end. You'd have to think of another podcast name for that. I think the stream of violence and chaotic words that come out of my mouth, but I probably will either be locked up or your feelings would be hurt so badly you wouldn't look at me. But whatever floats your boat at the end of the day, come on.
Exactly. I mean, my stance. If it gets more people playing, it gets more people playing. So long as it's easy to see what's what, it don't bother me.
Yeah, but they're not, though. They're fucking Cutimals. You fucking Cutimals, man. Come on.
Look, they're not rubber ducks, at least.
Yes, okay, I'll give you. It's not rubber ducks. It was not 3D printed ginger man. That's the other one.
Gingerbread man.
Oh.
Yeah.
This Gingy's got a candy cane, so he's a blitzer. Makes a lot of sense. Oh, my word.
I'm waiting for the day somebody just turns up with bases painted on where it says blitzer, catcher, thrower. That's not a hint to anybody, by the way. Please don't ever turn up to our event with that as your team.
I'm waiting for the transparent team, are they? I've painted these transparent slan. Look, I've got these all marked on the bases. It's not three different colours. Can't have it, sorry. But
I don't know if they paint their base in 3 different colours. I suppose it would be. But no.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes. We won't go down that rabbit hole.
No. Because I'll get upset. I think I will. I think I will get really upset on that.
I think I can hear the rage down the microphone already.
Oh no. As you can see, I'm trying to keep calm. I'm running out of tea, mind, but yeah. So what we're going to do now is, we had a nice chill ease into this now. We're just going to go into the interview and, we'll see what the boys from Eye of Nuffle got to say. So we'll see you after the break.
Hello my friends, and my name is Dan Kirby. I have a very easy to follow and very chilled out painting channel on YouTube, where I paint miniatures of all different shapes and sizes. I paint miniatures from all different types of board games, and by using simple tips, tricks and techniques, it couldn't be easier to follow along. If you enjoy a relaxed painting atmosphere, then please check it out.
Right guys, main section, and we get to interview the Poutine Power brethren from across the pond. It's Ian and Martin from the Eye of Nuffle Podcast. Boys, do you want to say hello?
Hi, how are you guys today?
Hello.
Right, boys, in case, for some unknown reason, we don't have the same followers, right? Do you want to give us a synopsis of what your podcast is?
Yeah, Ian, you are the marketeer of the two of us, so I'll let you take this one.
Oh dear. Okay. Yeah. Well, Martin's the brains behind the operation, as you can figure out. We got inspired by podcasts, including your own, about Blood Bowl. We felt there was not enough content out there, and we wanted to contribute some. And we decided that rather than look at, a close dive into all of the new teams that were coming out or particular rules questions or whatnot, or the hobby side, that we were just going to focus on upcoming tournaments in our region. Now, our region is Quebec and Ontario, and I think for a lot of your listeners in the UK, that's like maybe 12 UKs. So we've got a big region, but we're covering tournaments all the way from, well, essentially Detroit all the way through to Quebec City. And we're having fun, and people seem to be enjoying it. We do dive into questions around Blood Bowl. We have a little thing at the beginning of our podcast where we ask each other questions, and then we sum up our thinking on new releases at the end of the podcast. But we tend really just to be doing deep dives into tournaments and builds and what were the successful builds. Martin, do you think that covers it?
Yeah, it covers it pretty well, I think. We try, and I think the idea behind it was to keep Ian and I's blabbering to a minimum and just have segments with people coming on to speak about Blood Bowl or tournament organisers and stuff, so that it's not, Ian and I talking and giving her too many of our opinions, because we're mid-table warriors, right?
Oh, so what are you saying? You're upper echelons than us then? You weren't mid-table warriors, we're the wooden spoon warriors then, is it?
I would never say that directly.
We'll say it for you. We wooden spoon warriors. We like being at the bottom. More fun on the bottom tables. You said that you cover the range then, said from Detroit to Quebec. Is that like tournaments in a series then, or is that just anything that comes under the NAF umbrella?
Yeah, I think you have something similar now in Wales, where we have a tournament series that the NAF covers. Ours is the Glam series. Covers I think it's 4 states in America: Ohio, Michigan. Help me out, Ian. I don't know.
Illinois, that's where Chicago is. Wisconsin, Ohio, New York.
Yeah, I don't think it's New York, but yeah. So it covers a few states, including Ontario and Quebec, and yeah. So that's essentially what Ian and I would cover these days, like all the tournaments that go in there. And with the past year or so, we're getting 1-2 a month.
And that was me thinking our drive from Cardiff to Lancaster was a fair old trek. 3.5 hours, 4 hour drive. That's like visiting the end of your garden for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah.
The longest one for us so far was a 14-hour trip to Michigan, where it should have only been 10 hours, but we get stopped at the border because the US didn't like me. We get stopped at the border for 2.5 hours, 3 hours, I think it was. So that's been the longest one to date. But yeah, we go fairly regularly, some distance.
I don't think they'd let Jay in either, so don't worry.
Yeah,
not with my opinions, no.
Beard, what's happening next Friday is after a delightful visit to the dentist, Martin will be jumping in his car, driving for 2 hours just to get here to my place to pick me up, so that we can then drive 5 hours to get down to Guelph, Ontario, on the other side of Toronto for a one-day tournament. So that's how daft we are over here.
But it's Canada, isn't it? The only thing you've got mostly there, isn't it? Snow and moose, really, isn't it? So you've got to go the distance to get half of it. So
that's true.
The distances are they're mental. Coming from Scotland to over here, it took me a good couple of years to. I used to have an 11-minute commute to work, and I thought that was too long, right? You come here, and most days I'm in my car 2 hours. It's.
I don't think I could get used to it. So you're a better man than me. If I'm stuck with Beard more than 3 hours, I start losing my mind, because I'm just I'm fed up. All I can hear is gravy. Fucking hell. So yeah, you're doing better than me. So with you guys then, like you said, you've got a very wide spread on your area. Do you do a lot of leagues, or do you tend to stay away from them as well, or is it just tournament based?
The podcast doesn't look into leagues at all, although I have historically enjoyed them. But I will admit that now that I am devoting more time to the tournament play and then the podcast itself, which takes a fair chunk of time, that I'm playing less in leagues. But I am playing in our Ottawa Gatineau League here, and I enjoy it, but I'm finding that I like the challenge of tournaments better.
Yeah, same here. I find that although I enjoy playing in leagues, tournament plays where I get the most enjoyment. And so if we're going to 2 tournaments a month, especially like this year, we're pretty much set for 2 tournaments a month until the World Cup. You just don't have the time. Everything circles around the tournament scene. So I don't have the time to run a league, definitely not run one, and even playing in one night a week, one night every 2 weeks is quite a stretch.
Yeah.
What about you guys? You guys still go to the club for league and stuff?
Well, yeah, we still go. We're still part of our. Well, I say our local. It's Beard's local because it's about a 20-minute drive for him. It's a little bit longer for me, but no, we still stay with the same bunch of boys because a lot of them then will go to tournaments with us as well. So we keep the group going, and I think it's a nice break for us as well. Instead of looking at we got to build to this amount and have so many skills, and how we're going to fit a team into those skills, not what we fancy, like what would be best for that layout. It's nice to go, well, I really fancy trying, I don't know, Oaks or something like that. And then you build that slowly, and it's a nice little break, and in between it breaks it up a bit. But I suppose it's different for us. Like most we're driving is about an hour for our club. I suppose it's different if you have got a local league. Cause I don't know what your situation is, boys. If there's like clubs not local to you, or if it's a bit of a drive to get to like a local league.
Well, Ian's is certainly more local than mine. I just don't know of any local leagues that go on around about Montreal. But I mean, all that to say, I haven't really tried very, very much to find one.
No, and like you said, now with 2 tournaments a month, it's going to be a really hard push if you're trying to put a little extra in.
Aye,
So,
exactly.
have you guys run a tournament yet then, or are we going to see an Eye of Nuffle tournament soon, or are we not looking into that? We're going to hold off for a bit. What's happening, boys?
Yeah, so Ian runs one of the largest tournaments in Canada. It's the Capital City Kickoff with our friend Stephen. And also runs another tournament called the Thrunk Memorial Brick that happens in August time, so the end of the summer. And I actually am running my first tournament on the first weekend in April, April the 1st and 2nd. So it's the Laurentian Loons, which is our World Cup team. So the Laurentian Loons Team Challenge. And actually what I just found out the other day, it's on the same weekend as the UKTC.
Nice! I don't think you'll have a problem with people wanting to go between the two.
No, yeah, I don't
see there
think
being
there's
much
a problem.
crossover.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe one day, but not this year. But so we managed to get 10 teams. It's teams of 3, and really looking forward to it. I'm petrified at the prospect of having to play in the tournament because I have to run it as well. But yeah. So yeah, this will be my first toe dip into running tournaments, and yeah, excited for it.
Yeah, for us over here, a big tournament is 30 or more. And so the fact that Martin, on the first time out with a team challenge tournament like this, has already cracked that 30 number is really significant. So I'm really pleased for him, and it's going to be a great tournament.
Oh, no,
you should see the swag he's brought in and the cup. He's got a big freaking cup.
Yeah, I wanted it to be a prestigious tournament. I wanted to grow into like one of the bigger tournaments. So.
Oh, awesome! You've got to start somewhere, haven't you? You're going to have from humble roots and everything, isn't it? So 30 Absolutely. On your first goal, that's really good, especially if like that's like your average big tournament as well. Like things can only get better for that.
We even went international. We got a team signed up from the US a couple of weeks ago as well. So. That was probably like the highlight for me so far. We've gone international in our first year.
No, I think team tournaments don't tend to be the norm either. So as well to make it to a big tournament average big tournament size over there straight away on your first go shows it can only get bigger and better. Do you know what I mean? I love the idea of a team tournament. I know certainly the Cardiff boys would take it a lot more seriously than say me, Jay, and the Merthyr boys would.
Well, we done, what was it, Midwinter Madness. That was the last team tournament we went to. And that was just me and you. We went as the podcast. We thought, don't know if I could have a laugh. Beard had to carry my ass over the finish line. Yeah, he was keeping us afloat. I will say that, because I took Pro Elves. And that was where I famously failed 8 2+ dodges in a row. So... I can't be trusted. I can't even be trusted with a good team that's supposed to be good for dodging. So.
You got the elven kryptonite.
No, I just think in general it's kryptonite. It's like I love Blood Bowl, but it just doesn't love me. It's like a bloody allergic reaction, I think.
Yeah.
See, most people analyse their game and spot that one turn where it all goes wrong. Me and Jay have watched enough games where we've worked out it goes wrong for him as soon as he puts his players on the pitch. It's just downhill from there.
Yeah, we've spoken afterwards, and it's like really So which turn was right for you? Third game, turn 3. Why not? That was the best one for me. But no, I will say the last tournament I went to, I actually had a better outing, I would say. But we'll go on to that later. So, get back on track. We don't want to veer off just yet. We're only a couple of minutes into the interview. As a TO then, what programs do you use over there? Because I know most people that are with an NAF, they use Score. But I know a lot over in the UK now. We're using Tour Play a lot. So I was just wondering, is that a thing over with you guys as well? Do you using that, or is it something that people are still a bit weedy of over there?
Well, in terms of the ones that I've done in the past, I've just kept scoring done via a spreadsheet I've created that's not very elaborate, and it doesn't plug into the NAF, so you do have to go in and enter every score into the NAF afterwards. But those were for relatively small tournaments, and for the bigger ones where I was joining up with our friend Steve, he understands IT a bit better, so he was been running it. But in the sort of the next big one that I'm part of, the leading our big capital city kickoff, for which I got you those two t-shirts that I'll be bringing across the pond. But we've got a guy over here that runs the GLAM, the Great Lakes Tour, Oracle Tournament Series, that he's also a big IT guy, and he's doing the software that's going to run the next Oracle Cup, one of the big North American cups that happens every 3 years. And so he's going to use that software for our capital city kickoff in June. Martin, what are you using next weekend for the LLTC?
Yeah, that same program that Stephen has. And in fact, I am taking very little to do with that. I have passed the buck squarely over to Stephen and said, this is the scoring, this is the bonus points, make it work.
So literally, you don't use anything that is set out, you just made your own.
Not yet, no. I would like to try Tour Play. I don't know if that has a section for tournament builds, but all I've heard from that is good feedback. Yeah.
We use it for tournaments over here. You can use it for leagues, and it's pretty good because you're not having to wait until after the game is finished and everyone rushes up with his sheet and then you input it, because people can use it at the table. So if you want to register, there was a touchdown, the players are dead or whatever, it's all done, and then when they press finish game, it collects the information ready to kick off within about 5 minutes. And so it's really good. I've got to be honest. I've used Score. Yeah, I've used Score before, and it's no problem putting the information in, but it's a hell of a lifesaver using Tour Play as well.
I was going to say, the only thing that I can see as a problem with Tour Play is when you play leagues, the random skills, it tends to go through phases of dishing out the same 2 skills to almost everyone. So we had a league, first league we used Tour Play, almost every random skill was armbar or pile driver, which... Oh! Yeah.
You know how to get around that, don't you? Don't use random.
Yeah, here.
Simple solution. No, I'm just curious because it's the same game, but it can look completely different when it's all in one place or another, isn't it? So, and that's why I like having these interviews with the people across the pond and in other places, so you can see how it's set up differently, what's similar and all that. So it's always good to see that. Just to bend your ear a little bit more, boys. What was the last tournament you went to? If it's two months, surely you've just come off the back of one.
Yeah, we just wrapped up a local tournament here in Ottawa-Gatineau that was run by our friend Steve that we're talking about, that is on our World Cup team, the Dominion Cup. So that was the second iteration of that tournament, and he did pretty well. He got, what were the final numbers there, Martin? 20 or 18? 18.
It was either 18. There was one that didn't show up on the day. I think it was 18 we ended up with.
Yeah, so, for us, a one day, that's not bad up here. So 18, and having listened to the podcast, that from the word go that I've been trumpeting this thing that we do called the gloat-o-meter, where we compare our relative conduct in tournaments, and the gloat-o-meter will either swing towards me or swing towards me. And I've been very happy in gloating about my performance. Well, we're going to have to ring klaxons in the next episode. Because the gloat-o-meter pendulum has obviously arced to its top and is now swinging for the first time ever towards Martin, because I managed to pull draws from the teeth of 2 victories, and then I managed to pull a defeat from the teeth of a victory for the 3 games, and I came away with 2 draws and a loss. All 3 of those games should have been victories for me. So I'm feeling a little glum at the moment.
I told you I was going to come for you in 2023, mate. I told you.
Martin, what about you then, Bert?
Yeah, I took my lizard men build to this. Again, loads of prep for the World Cup, so I'm kind of stuck on lizard men now. I had a similar rule set to the World Cup, so I took lizards. The first game was against Kemry, and mistakes. I made 2 mistakes in the match, and it cost me the win. I managed to hold on for the draw, but it was my own fault. You know, I think the win was there for the taking. Second game was up against Undead. I was down 2 Saurus after 3 turns, and then my Crocs got killed at the beginning of the second half, like before I'd had a turn in the second half. So I almost pulled off a draw in that one, but they were able to put it in on turn 16 for the 2-1 win. And then my third game was against Black Orcs, and a coach who was fairly new to playing Black Orcs, and so I think I might have even got a blitz or something in that game as well. So it ended up 3-0 victory on the day. So a 500 record, you know, I went an even record, I suppose. I think I could have done better, but, you know, it happens sometimes, right?
Oh, yeah. You can't win them all, is it?
So that was me mid-table-ish, I think, and had to look all the way down to, I think it was 2 places above bottom spot for Ian. Like, it's quite embarrassing. Like, I'm associated with this guy. Come on.
Sat there looking at the table, wondering, hang on, first 10, he's normally there. Can't be at the bottom, yeah. Surely not.
Well,
we won't tell you.
I was playing my Imperial Nobility, and you've heard from the podcast that I have my psychological warfare I inflict on people as I have my ogre, and every time I activate him, I yell at the top of my lungs the ogre's name to activate him. And he had a shit tournament. He just really did. Every time he could, he went bonehead. Sometimes he'd give me a little hope by sort of not going bonehead 2 turns, but then just when I needed him not to go bonehead, of course, he would go bonehead. And sometimes that wasn't even to pull off a block. It was just to get out of the freaking way so they could go blitz a ball carrier.
Is that why that particular ogre has been benched for the Gladiator Cup next weekend?
Yes, sir. We're going with the mighty Zug.
Oh, he's in timeout.
Yeah. I'm going with the mighty Zug.
Did both of you use your World Cup builds then for these tournaments, or was it? And if you don't mind, if you haven't mentioned what the skills are.
The particular tournament wasn't quite a World Cup build. It was a World Cup build for the top 2 tiers. And then from tier 3, 4, and 5, they gave an extra 50K for team building. And I think even an extra skill, if I'm remembering correctly. Is that correct?
Yeah, the normal kind of addition of skills. But yeah, the lower tiers got more money for their team build in the first place.
Okay, so although I did go with the team I intend to take, Imperial Nobility, it was a build that I won't really take because Imperial Nobility throwers are useless. But with this budget, I decided to take one so that he could, on the last play of my last tournament game, throw the ball out of bounds on a wildly inaccurate, throw it into the backfield so that my opponent could do a chain push, free up a player, and go score to turn a victory I was about to gain into a defeat.
That sounds very similar to a game I had in our most recent tournament against Wood Elves. Oaks defended the far corner, ball secure, no, ward answer, leap, elf, bullshit, ball into the crowd, go straight over the end zone, straight over to the other sideline, and then thrown the full 12 squares down the other end of the field. And of course, all my orcs are up the other end, playing catch up and just couldn't get there in time. Should have been 2-1 to me and lost 2-1. I know exactly how you feel with stuff like that.
The throw-ins never seem to work for anybody. It's always your opponent, right?
Yeah.
It's never you that benefits. It's always your opponent. My build for it was fairly straightforward. All block on the Saurus. Lizard build, so you get 6 primary skills. So all block on the Saurus and 13 players. But I am now thinking about a change to the Lizard team. I'm considering dropping a skink and throwing in a keg. because I found that like if one of those Saurus gets KO'd or like any KOs can really hurt that team, even on the obviously on the Crocs as well. So I'm now thinking about throwing in a keg and probably like I don't see the value in the apothecary these days, so I'm thinking of throwing in a keg.
The Apo doesn't really have as much value because they stay around a little bit longer. You're going to have a really shit game where it's all against you if you need an Apo for a high armor value team.
Yeah, it is strictly worse now, right? It used to be 50%, now it's 43 or something like that. I mean, the Apple is just strictly worse. And so, yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, I stay away from it now. I'd rather have an extra player.
Well, I've never taken an Apple to a tournament, so I can't tell you either way. Yeah, what about you? Have you ever taken an Apple to a
tournament? No, I just don't feel that they're worth it now. So, in league play, I will, if I can over time accumulate enough money, I'll buy one because it can't hurt, but I don't find them useful. But in a tournament where you've got to really keep your budget tight, no, never.
See, that thinking I completely agree with. In a tournament where, unless you're going to an event that has a silly high budget, and say you've already got A, all the players you want, B, you've bought stars you want, C, you've got all the other extras and sideline staff, it's almost last on my list. In a league, it's a bit different, where you're progressing players. Any chance of a player not dying is better than no chance of a player not dying, especially if it's a player where it might be you're playing Chaos Dwarfs and your one Bull Centaur's managed to get 3 skills and the other none. If your 3-skill Bull Centaur has a chance of going from dead to passing stat bust, I'll take that, do you know what I mean? Whereas tournaments, you tend to skill up a few players rather than just one. So, yeah, I think I took one to maybe when we went up to Two Drunk Flings, our first ever tournament, and I think that was only because I was playing Halflings and there was that much budget left over after things that I could afford one.
Yeah, you do get that with some teams. Some teams, I mean, for instance, Amazons perhaps would be a team that qualifies. The team is so cheap anyway that you find yourself with extra money, Then maybe,
Yeah, I mean, certainly so with the World Cup build where they've restricted a lot of the sideline staff and inducements that you can take. And I get why they've done it, so that they can check over rosters, and it speeds a lot of things up when it comes to them being called out as TOs if players are unsure over something. But I completely agree. Amazons, Snotlings, anything along those lines where players are cheap enough that you have something left over and you've got everything else you want. I think that's where it comes in,
Yeah.
Yep. How about yourself, Jay?
Yeah, like you guys were at, was it Cardiff Cup recently, like last week?
Yes, it was last week. It was a one-day tournament. It was a 50-man tournament. So
nice.
Beard, you might want to say about how you got on with it, because you've done the best out of the two of us.
I managed 2 wins and 2 losses. So again, 500 record even. I got more touchdowns than I conceded, so I was happy with that. The 2 losses, I got elfed in both of them. The Wood Elves one could have been 2-1 to me, unfortunately for War Dancer and crowd shenanigans. The other games, the first game I played against Zons and got greedy on turn 8 and could have scored. Went for a foul and got sent off. Thankfully, managed to then... Yeah. I was trying to get rid of one of the strength 4 blockers with guard, and I just thought they'd been a bit of a pain for 7 turns, and I just thought, well, while I've got it down, I might as well give it a try. And yeah, I got punished for that, but I managed to turn him over second half, thankfully. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's always a good, well-run tournament. It's Cardiff Cup. I was happy with 2 wins, 2 losses, and if I get a similar record at a World Cup, I'll be happy with that. What about you, Jay? How did you get on? Do you want to put us out of his misery?
No. So, I can't remember where you placed out of 50. Where were you placed?
I was about 26, 27. I was just under halfway.
That's what I mean. He done the best out of the two of us. Silly fucking me. I took Norse, and we all remember from the last interview, and I said about what happened to me at Tash Bash, where the glass cannon shattered.
Right.
I felt I had to redeem myself a bit. I took Norse with Puggy, so I thought, you know what, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to have a laugh while losing. A bit better for me this tournament. I've done 3 draws and 1 loss, so that's not too bad. That's technically I didn't lose for 3 games, so, and I didn't win either, but it's not the point. But no, I done well. I was top 40. Better than being bottom 40, I'll tell you what now. So wasn't still a wooden spoon warrior, but I wasn't down in the depths, just about. I was keeping my head above water. Last game was 1-0. We kind of ran out of time, but I didn't do too bad. I played, if I remember rightly, I think I played Dwarf on the third game. I've been playing I played Orc team as well, so they weren't soft teams that I could get away with. A lot of it was tied up, but it was a good fun game. I had a good laugh. Got to meet a load of new people again.
Yeah. You were saying there about this tournament, like the Cardiff Open was a 1.2 million, right? And you took Puggy or Norse tier 1 or tier 2?
I took it on tour play. Let's see if I can pull up my tour play, and I'll tell you what it says on there then.
Got to be tour 1.
12 SP for Puggy seems a bit harsh if you only have 42 total. 12 SP, that's a lot to spend on him. What skills did you take on your Norse team?
I shall tell you now. Here's my team. Scroll all the way down the bottom, I'll find myself. My team was called Norse Scaping the Wooden Spoon.
Nice. Nice.
Play on words. Our wordsmith Ian might appreciate that one.
Yep, very nice, very nice.
So I took tier 1 in this rule set. So I took Peggy. I took 2 Valkyrie, 2 Elves, 2 Berserkers, and I took 6 Linemen as well. So I
taking Puggy, that would have left you with what, like 5 skills?
5 skills, yeah. I got Cannoneer on the Valkyrie, which saved my ass a few times.
Did it really?
Yeah, because I was able to throw that a little bit further than people were expecting half the time.
Yeah.
And especially when Puggy was Nerves of Steel as well, where you could catch her, then he does his fling bullshit of like sliding through the legs and out, and then he can run off. So those two were a good thing. My Ulfs had blocks, and my Berserkers had Mighty Blow. So, it was very simple. It was fun. Like, I'm never going to win a tournament, so I wasn't ever going to be like super serious with my list. But I thought, no, I could have a laugh. But, I had a Valkyrie. They got strip ball as a normal skill, so they could be a pain in the backside. But they're good runners. They're good alternative catchers. If people were too concerned on Puggy, which a few times people saw Puggy as a star player and they thought, let's try and get him out pretty quick. But then each draws the eye then, doesn't he? So surprisingly useful. But I didn't use his. I didn't have a chance to use his special skill on him the whole tournament.
So he wasn't that lucky.
No,
he gets a personal reroll.
Yeah,
luck of the halfling.
I was going to say about that though, because like it's an interesting conversation around like some people like to give the Ulfwereners guard, one block, but I kind of agree with you. I like going with 2 block on the Elves, but I do see that you're firmly in Ian's camp and not taking tackle.
Well, I think my mindset was I know a lot of the Cardiff boys tend to stay away from. So in my head, I didn't do tackle because I kind of went, well, I know a lot of them tend to stay away from them. It's a rare occasion if they do take it, but yeah, you can testify to that, can't I? So it was like, if I took tackle, I may never play a Woody. I may never play a Pro Elf or anything like that. So, and I didn't play anything that was going to be good at dodging or needed to dodge out.
Did you play any stunty teams though? Like that's where tackle becomes really important, right? Against your stunty and your titchy teams.
No.
You didn't? Oh, okay, well, fair enough. It's obviously a meta decision that you've made. If you're looking at your opponents and thinking there's not going to be a lot of dodge going around, and it makes sense.
Well, like I said, it's because I've seen them at tournaments. I've seen what type of list they play. Like, I know there's going to be an Old World Alliance team. I know there's going to be a Dwarf team. I know there's going to be a Human team. So I know there's going to be a couple of Orc teams, a Chorf team, and none of them, I would say, would specialise in being very agile. They're more gang up, beat the shit out of you, that type of thing. So I kind of hedged my bets and didn't think about taking tackle. Perhaps I should have taken tackle, but I think that would have been like a second pick if I didn't take Puggy. I would have just checked tackle on my lineman or something like that.
Right.
But no. But I like the Ulfs because they strength 4. I like to use them as like a second line of block of berserkers. So the only thing they miss in then when you give them block is the jump up. So really, you're double duty in then, aren't you? So that's how I look at it. I am not the one who's the be all end all knowledge on it. Like a lot of people will ask me, when did you take a Yeti? Because they didn't have one painted up. Simple as. like I got a Grebo Yeti and he's still in about 3 pieces. So I'm like, he's undercoated, I just can't be asked painting. That's generally how it goes.
The last year or so, I've just started to employ the whole slap chop method. The guy from the Honest Wargamer's been promoting that for a while.
Yeah.
And honestly, it has changed. It's changed the hobby for me. Like, I was never going to win painting awards anyway, right? I really don't see myself as a great painter, but being able just to throw a bit of the old dry brushing on and then put contrast paints on, you get a team pumped out. And like that Yeti you were talking about, I get the Forge World one. I think I painted that thing in like 3 hours total, and it looks fine, right? It's not beautiful, but it's not silly looking.
Yeah, no, I got to sit down and paint. It's me sitting down and painting at the moment. That's my problem. But you're saying about the slap chop thing. I think I painted my 2 wolves. I think they took me 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And that was just basically slap chop. You know, it looks like I put more effort into it than what I did.
I'm yet to try slap chop, but I have got the terracotta ogre style team, so I'm probably going to try it with them. Do them mainly all terracotta, and then just pick out a few details on each model. It's something I want to try. I think I'm like you. I'm probably never going to win a painting award. It's Mr. Pro Painted over there, Lord J, that's got himself a painting award. Second ever tournament, and you can now put on eBay it's Pro Painted, you know.
Yeah. Fucking right. That's the only reason I wanted to win it.
If you enjoy painting and stuff, and you consider that to be a big part of your hobby, then like great, that's awesome. Just for me, I'm looking right now at my pile of shame, and I know you guys are the same, right? But I'm looking at that and thinking I'm never going to be able to paint all that, and so the indecision, like especially when you sit down to paint, like you were saying, Jay, you sit down to paint, you don't have a color scheme in mind, and nothing gets done. Whereas with slap chop, you just get through it. It's helped me let go, I think.
I think since companies starting with GW brought in contrast style paints or speed paints, whatever you want to call them, it's made painting much more accessible to a lot of people, be it through slap chop or just slap contrast on things in general. I think a lot of people are getting things on the table quicker, which, it's a much more enjoyable game when you're playing against, whether it's Blood Bowl, like you guys say, other miniature games, playing against painted minis, it just feels a bit more, you can feel the depth of the game a bit more when things are painted or things have a coherent colour scheme, certainly more so when you're playing those bigger games where you can go, this unit all has red shoulder pads, that unit has blue shoulder pads, so you can easily distinguish different things just based on colour schemes. But, I think it's a great thing that they've done, and I think it's good that other companies are following suit, bringing their own lines in.
I want to try that army painter one, because that's supposedly 10 times better than the GW ones, but, I was getting around to, like, going down the shop to get them, like, I'm too much of a lazy bastard, I'm, like, staying indoors these days, like, but, no, let's try and bring it back.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't go.
No, it's me. I'm just going to try and bring it back to Blood Bowl. We allowed it to get derailed. We went for a cup of tea and everything, guys, That's how much we got sidetracked on this one. So, you've been playing Blood Bowl for a couple of years, and you're probably paying more attention to your teams now with the podcast. That's been going, is it a couple of months now? Is it nearly a year?
September. I think September 22 was our first episode. Either August or September. I probably should know that, Ian.
Yeah, it's a very end of August or early September, one of the two. We've done sort of 7 official episodes, so we're way behind you guys.
Oh, you're not that far behind us. We take a break every so often, so you can catch up with us, no problem. Probably by the end of this year, you'll probably catch up with us. But have you found an inducement that you've taken more that you didn't think you would enjoy, or has it been like a certain team or star player that you've never thought of, but then when you've used them, you were like, I kind of like that, I'll use that more?
Yeah, so I've got one, well, the fairly obvious one. I was able to take Hack Flame on Chorf, and I know that that's dirty. Like, I can I need a shower even saying it, right? But I took Hack Flame on Chorf a couple of times. But on the kind of flip side to that, I think is interesting as well. Since the tournament scene has opened back up again past couple of years, and with the new rule set, I'm taking less rerolls. I used to always consider 3 rerolls to be priority, and now more often than not, 2 is enough.
Yeah. What about you, Ian?
Well, for me, I'm glad that the World Cup and other tournaments have imposed a tax on certain stars because, frankly, Bomber, Dribble Snot, or Cindy, those are for 50K, damn good pieces that have the potential to break a tournament. And so I think it is good that they've put those taxes on it. Frankly, in a league play, if I've got 50K lying around and depending on the team I'm playing, I'll pull in Bomber, Dribble Snot, or I'll pull in Cindy because they're just dynamite pieces.
Oh, like you were waiting for that one, weren't you? You were waiting for that question. You had that lined up for days, haven't you? I use one inducement more now, and that's the War Drummer. Have you guys used him on your teams? Or?
Yeah.
I find that such a good utility piece.
I've got a question on that, the WA drummer. Can you push the same player 3 times? If you get like 3-4 ups, can you push the same player 3 times?
Yes.
I did not know that before. I think it was last week somebody had mentioned that, and I find that incredible. That narrows the pitch significantly, right? You can push them to the side, right?
Back from the line, I think, is the wording on it. But user discretion. Like how we do it around this way is you push back. You can if you pushed into another player, you can veer off. But like I use it more to like separate. Like if you can see somebody who's got halflings lined up next to trees, and there's a possibility of a 1 turn, you can separate them. So they can't. So they got to move close to sort it all out. Or if there's a soft player in the front and you want to separate them so you can get 2 dice blocks on them, it's really good at that. It's a good utility piece, and I would say Black Orcs in particular would need that piece. And I think you said, Beard, didn't they? They're not on the inducements for the World Cup.
They're not. No, I took it to the Cardiff Cup, and I had really good success with moving things back. Like you say, moving things back so you could get a blitz through into another piece. But your opponent not knowing how many players may or may not be pushed back, it's one of those things where it just distracts them during every setup. It's not just one setup or one use. And I think that's what makes it as good as it is, that it's every single drive. There's no way your opponent can take it off you or anything like that, or work around it.
Yeah, I had an Orc player use it against me at the New Year's Bash. I was Lizards, he was obviously Orcs, and it turned the first half into a bit of a stalemate because I didn't get to hit him at the start of the match kind of thing. And so the two of us were just facing off against each other for like the first 4, maybe even 5 turns of that first half.
It's a fabulous piece. And then when you link it to like others, like the most infamous time we used it was me versus B at a barbecue bowl. I had enough coins where I could have Black Orcs, Varag, a War Drummer, and a Firebelly. And Firebelly, right, I reckon is like one of the best wizards, right? Is up there probably with the, what was it, the Skaven Warplock Engineer, right? I reckon those two were fantastic, right? Column of Fire, absolutely amazing. Because it's draw a line from either side of the pitch, and then it's like everyone gets hit. But what it was, he set up not that far behind his front row. I rolled a 3 on my War Drummer, pushed him then, and I was like, I can see I got a perfect line by her. There's like 8 players by her. It took them all out, and he was like, it fucked him up because he was like, well, I'm not actually competing in this play now because you can surround me, hold me, and one player can fuck off. Yeah. So it's got a great utility piece, and like Beard said, it gets everybody thinking. And for 50, it's not a one use; it's every drive. Like granted, like a lot of players will stall and everything like that, so, like try and mitigate how many turns and how many touchdowns in a turn, like. But it's a great counter offensive, I would say, because it like you said against lizards, where you would say you're gonna get the shit kicked out of you if there's a long line, like, but you can push them back, open up a gap, really good. That's one of my favourites out of it. That's probably why I'm not going to the World Cup, I would say. He's like, can't take my water on that.
Well, I'm not sorry to see the back of it. The death zone inducements, if they were to allow them in competitive play, the whole pack of cards would just crumble down.
It's one of the few, I would say, that is needed. Like, I think, like, say, especially for like Black Orcs, they're so slow, and the fact that you've got to put them into certain positions, like you've only got access to, like, at a tournament, like, say 4, 5, unless you want to really skimp on your goblins. So you need something to balance you out. So that's why I see it as a must more than most. I enjoy sheepy rerolls now because the mascot is a lot of fun as well. So so sheepy rerolls. Right, boys, I've taken up enough of your time. I've had you nearly an hour. So I am going to start a game with you, right? And I want to see your Blood Bowl knowledge. Beard's going to be the adjudicator on this one, right? It's called Skill Band or Not a Fan. And the aim of the game is I'm going to give you 3 to 4 skills, and you've got to guess positional is, right? If you need extra help, I can tell you what the primary skill selection is. See if that helps you. So, for example, if I said tackle and thick skull, and their primary access is general and strength, what would you think that is?
Dwarven blocker.
A dwarf what?
Well, alignment, like they're...
Exactly. See? Simple, innit? Right? Simple game.
Would you have accepted Chaos Dwarf Blocker?
No, I was accepting dwarf.
Oh, okay. All right.
I had
Like
one
that.
in my head. You've got to really narrow it down, right? I don't want you getting very ambiguous with it, right?
Okay. So before we even get into this, I just want you all to know, you can see behind me there, that's my rulebook on the shelf. I'm not cheating like Ian. Come on, Ian, where's your rulebook? Don't lie like it's under the table. It's right in front of you.
What he's got BB roster opened up on his computer.
All
Right.
Okay.
Number 1, right? I'm going armbar, brawler, loner 3+.
Old World Alliance Dwarf Blocker.
That is.
Okay, do you want us to buzz in here, or are we just to shout out when we know? Because Ian probably... All right, okay.
Right. You spoke first, so I'm going to give you the thing. Ian, your buzz is sheepy.
Okay.
Martin, yours is going to be reroll, okay?
All right, okay.
So, next one. Pass, sure hands, thick skull.
Reroll. Kemri Throra.
That is, yeah.
Oh!
Nailed it. Nailed it, 2 for 2. Now we got dodge, stunty, shadowing.
Sheepy.
What Ian?
Okay, I'm wrong, actually. But,
Reroll.
Chameleon skink.
Oh, Ian, you got it. You got it. It's a chameleon skink. Right, here we go. Diving tackle, jump up, pogo step.
Reroll. Slan Blitzer.
That's it. And I think, really, Martin has shown his dominance of his Blood Bowl knowledge.
Yeah.
But I've got an extra one.
I mean, to be fair, you keep picking teams that I play, so...
Oh, okay, funny bugger. Let's try this one. Last one, block and sidestep.
Sheepy. So that would be an Elven Union Blitzer.
That's it. Bang on.
Nice. Yeah, nice.
See, don't tell me you play him a lot, is it?
I play them a bit. In fact, this next tournament that Martin and I are driving down to Guelph for, I'm taking Elven Union.
See, every time you say Guelph, that sounds like a place in Wales. Fair play. So, at the end of the game, I think that's 3-2 to Martin. So, I would say out of the two of you, the glotometer should go over to Martin on this one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Good game, good game.
I'm crushed. Thanks, that was good fun.
But yeah, did you see a lot of fair play? There wasn't any shenanigans going on there then, was it?
I don't know. There was some fouling. I think refs needed to send somebody off during that. Probably need to send Jay off, to be fair.
Probably, yeah. It just struck me now, because we were talking about adjudicate in my head, right? do you have any like free inducements given out, or do you do something different every tournament, or is it just a basic tournament standard?
I think over here we have a range of tournaments that take a sort of a normal model between sort of 1.5 and 2 million normally, but then they will add in some sort of spice. So, for example, I'm running a tournament ahead of my big tournament. It's a sevens tournament. I call it the Capital City Kickback instead of Kickoff, and the kickback being, corruption. And so every team gets $100,000 or 100,000 gold pieces that they must spend on bribes. So this, of course, gives goblins or black orcs 2 bribes. And then the tiebreaker for that particular sevens tournament is the number of foul casualties generated.
Nice.
Like you've actually got the best one in your other tournament, Ian. That's my favorite one anyway.
Well, okay, yeah. So the other tournament that I run every summer is the Thrunk Memorial Brick. I do it outdoors at a brewery halfway between Montreal and Ottawa, just so the two communities can get together and have a pint while they kill each other. And it's called the Thrunk Memorial Brick because it's named after an ogre who was killed by a brick thrown from the crowd. And he loves Blood Bowl so much that he comes back as a ghost to play. And so whenever cheering fans is rolled, he will appear on the trap door and then move to try to get the ball and hit whoever's got the ball. And so that's a little thing that we do to spice up the game. And, the tiebreaker for that particular tournament is the number of Thrunk casualties you get.
You had me a brewery. See, that sounds amazing. No, that sounds amazing. It's like, we generally keep it in the book where people can see, because like last tournament we done a free beer keg. This one now we've actually made our mascot now, who Drag the Dragon. Now he's going to be part of the game now, so we've given everyone a biased ref. Nice. But it's the rules for the halfling triplets, isn't it, Beard?
Yep, that's the ones.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different, but it covers everybody. So it's not like everyone gets a biased ref and then it just doesn't work. It's something different for every person then, isn't it? So it's going to be that type of thing. So I know some tournaments here, we also have a special chainsaw at Christmas, wrapping paper face at one tournament. So another friend of ours, Squad Chaos, they have Thread Bowl, which has their own array of characters as well. One being Thread, which is a barbarian fanatic as well. So he's spinning around
a drunken beer barrel.
Yeah. So he's hitting you with a beer barrel, and then they got a squig and everything like that. Then, so it's variety is the spice of life.
It is, and I think we see that this year, especially building up to the World Cup. A lot of tournaments are just going to churn out the World Cup rule set. So it is nice every now and again to be like, oh, this tournament's giving away free giants, or this tournament has an ogre that pops up and swirls around. If you fail to pick up that ball, you're in trouble. I can't say enough about it. Ian put a lot of thought into his Thrunk build, and it's not overbearing, right? It doesn't ruin games, but if you just happen to be really unlucky, it can just turn the tide,
Oh no, that sounds awesome. You'll have to send me a copy of the rule set, and perhaps we can try it amongst us at our local and just see what we think.
Very good. I'll do that.
Thrunk can go international that way, then, can't he? So give it a try. Yeah. Beard, have you got anything you want to say to these fine gentlemen? I know I've monopolised their time.
I think you've covered everything we wanted to go through.
Right, boys. Use your final couple of minutes on the podcast. This is your time now where you can advertise yourself, anything that's coming up, anything that's future projects. Take it away.
We're in the process of recording episode 8 at the moment. We're going to be covering what happened at the Dominion Cup and what's going to happen this upcoming weekend in the Gladiator Cup down in Guelph. There will be movement on the glottometer, and that will be done with lots of fanfare. We have interesting questions that we pose to each other in the beginning, and then I'm asking some stupid Blood Bowl questions of people at these tournaments that'll just add a little bit of humor here and there to the show. And then we'll maybe wrap up with the update on the standings for the Glam Tournament Series. Martin, would you add anything else to that?
No.
Man of many words, but there, wasn't he? Huh?
But look, thanks very much for having us on your pod. I think we gave you a shout out on our episode 1 for a reason. I've enjoyed listening to you, and thanks for inspiring us.
No, I take no thing in saying we inspire people today, but you're being very modest today. But it's always good to hear from brothers in the community across the pond. If it's anything we can do, you're going to reach out to us, and if you want us to advertise something, we will advertise it. We're always there for you, because I know you would do that for us as well. So yeah. I'm hoping, boys, in a couple of months, maybe we can have another interview catch-up time. And
yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us on, first of all. It's always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure.
We've been together and had a couple of conversations now, and like I said, it's been enjoyable. So yeah, why don't we get together at the end of the spring or into the summer, and we can at least meet up another 1 or 2 times before the World Cup.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And I know when we were on your podcast, like you had to do like a 6.5 for us, wasn't it? Because we kind of bitched and moaned and took over a bit, But we apologise for that one. But you know what it's like, when you spend a lot of time with someone, you get used to them, and you act like brothers at the end of the day, innit? So
that was it. Well, we had originally intended to just have that be like a 20-minute thing or whatever, but we thought it was worthy. We thought it was worthy, the discussion and stuff, to post as its own thing. You know what I mean? I thought it did well. So.
Yeah. It was an amazing chat with you guys. It was just, I came away from it, I said to Beard, I hope we don't put off any of the bloody listeners now, like, and he's like, what these fuckers are they interviewed now, like, and
I've been here 10 years, they still don't understand me. I think you're okay.
No worries, then. Right, boys, I don't want to take up any more of your time, so I'm going to let you go. It's always been a pleasure, and we will catch up again. So, from me to thee, and to everyone that's listening, I'm going to say goodbye.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Next time.